Yo guys, what is good? My name is Will. I started gloving like 5 months ago. I joined the Reddit community shortly after, and I kind of post videos on occasion with my progress. And uh, I've been getting a whole bunch of feedback. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate the positivity you guys have in your community and like the constructive criticism. You guys are super helpful, and you guys have given me a lot of tips on how to improve. And I kind of wanted to make this video. As like a tutorial, or not like a tutorial, but as a whole bunch of like a conglomerate of ideas for a person who's just getting into gloving and uh, can use a general overview of some tips. So in this video, I'm going to talk about just the kind of mindset I have in getting good at gloving, like how do I get good at gloving, what techniques I use to analyze my shows. I'm going to talk about and then I'm going to talk about four concepts for. I'm going to talk about how to improve finger rolls, which, by the way, my finger rolls are really not that good. They're okay. They can use a whole bunch of work. I'm going to talk about pinches. I'm going to talk about dials, and I'm going to talk about flails. So the mindset that I have on getting better at gloving is maybe I'll throw a light show at the end of this. I don't know. We'll see. So the mindset that I have of getting good at gloving is I always try to look at my shows. Every time I look at myself giving a show, I try to find one thing that I can really improve on. Like it can be a really small thing or it can be a big thing. Like if I'm doing finger rolls, I remember that I used to have this problem where I would kind of give one and my right index finger would be slightly above my left one. And that's something I really wanted to fix. So every time I would do a finger roll, I'd really focus on getting these two right in the middle. Also, I'd have a problem where my right hand would come down faster than my left hand. And I kind of wanted more symmetry in my finger rolls, which can still use a whole bunch of work. That's not something that's perfect. Also, the mindset of not really being content with how good your shows are, I think, is the best way to improve. Granted, there's a whole bunch of people that like to give light shows as an art, as something they don't really want to get better at, as something that they want to express themselves fully. There's a whole spectrum of just expressing yourself to just being competitive with it. Whatever you choose, it's awesome, and do what you want. I'm just kind of giving my ideas. So first thing is finger rolls. This is the first thing I'm going to go over with you guys. One like little tip that really helps me with finger rolls. I just learned this like a few weeks ago when I went to a meetup, by the way. If you guys have a chance to go to meetups in your local area, go to them because you'll meet a whole bunch of cool glovers and they're always down to share new concepts and help newbies out. And it's like a super good community. Anyway, this one thing that I learned, I used to do this a lot and I still kind of have a problem where when I'm getting finger rolls like this, I kind of hinge at my wrists. Not something, it's, if you want to do that, that's totally, I think it's funny that I'm like looking at you guys. My desk is kind of weird and this is like another section of my desk. So I said it's kind of weird. But if you want your wrists to be flat and you want flat finger rolls, a good technique, I'm using a tissue box right here, but just get a flat surface and put your hands on it and then open your wrist all the way and close it all the way. And again, I can still use a lot of work, and you can open it any way you want. And just like focus on having your wrist like flat when you open it, and that'll help it'll help stop hinging on your wrists. Okay. We're back from the depths of my desk. Okay, so another concept is pinches. So by the way, if you guys don't know what pinches are, they're just kind of like a concept where you take like a pinch, like 4 lights kind of forming a square. I guess it can be more than 4. It can be any number of lights, but they kind of form it in like they meet at a point, and then like there's certain things you can do. You can open up a pinch, pass a light through, and then close it back, open it, do a pass through, and you can like open and close different pinches. This guy Youngblood, he has a super good tutorial on it. You should check it out if you haven't, if that's a concept that interests you. Anyway, one thing that I notice a lot of people do when they do pinches is they're not really good at keeping the fingers that are not involved in the pinch still, and I think that adds a huge component to the pinch. So when I try to do pinches, I'll try to keep, in this case, when I'm trying to use my index and my ring finger as the pinch, and my pinky and my thumbs are like kind of outside of the equation, I try to keep them as still as possible. All the fingers that are like not in the equation, I try to keep as still as possible, and that'll kind of make the pinch look cleaner. Yeah, so that's for pinches. For dials are probably my favorite concept to work with, and I'm always doing them when I'm at the gym. Like when I'm in class, I'm always just kind of like looking at myself. People think I'm weird. All right, so one thing that people should always practice when they're doing dials, or not always, it's your preference, but one thing that I practice is I'll keep my middle two fingers still with the outer two fingers the only ones moving, and I think that gives a much cleaner look to the dial. It's a little bit harder when you're doing different fingers, but yeah, I think it can look pretty cool when you like, especially dials are cool when you use like depth perception. Anyway, that's like a thing with dials, just keeping the middle two fingers still, and it's really hard. It took a long time to kind of move. I still can't do it perfectly, but yeah, it's something you guys can practice. Lastly, what was the last concept? Flails. That's right. So I went to a meetup like 5 days ago, and I used to think that my flails are like kind of crappy, or sorry, not flails, whips. I used to think that my whips are like really crappy, and I don't know, I think they've improved a lot. I don't think they're by means like good or anything, but went to this meetup, and this dude, Kiefer, shout out to you, Kiefer, you're a homie, you're a boss at gloving, and you're super nice to people, and you help out the newbies, so Kiefer, you're the man. He watched my show, and he was like, hey man, you have good whips, but like you're throwing a lot of forward whips, and the forward whips are cool, but when you watch like more advanced people, I guess they'll do like a combination of forward and back whips. But he said that a lot of them will throw backwards whips. You know, you should know that there's like the forward whip and the reverse whip or backwards whip. And when you throw backwards whips, they just kind of look cleaner. And also, it's way easier to bring your hands, like, you know that move that you see glovers where they bring the hand up? I really like that move, and I think that's way easier to do with the reverse whips. I still haven't figured out how to like do them. I can't do them when I'm doing forward whips, I guess. I don't know. So I think that in general, backwards whips are, if you're going to practice one type of whip, backwards whips are probably a little bit better. And that's it, guys. Like, I love the community. If you guys are ever in the Davis, Sacramento area, you guys want to kick it, I'm super down. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, any of you guys coming up, like, just feel free to message me. And thanks. Bye.